Hi, I'm Rob. Welcome to the Squarebase Show. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how to win games in the old world. I know. It's a little bit early to be talking about how to win games. Not everyone has seen all the rules. Not everyone has seen all the army lists. How can we possibly know how to win? Well, we have already seen the information on how games are won in the old world, and it's something called victory points, which are based on kill points. Kill points are basically what you get for killing enemy units or getting them to half strength or other stuff. We'll cover that in a minute. But kill points is a fascinating meta game. It's a fascinating way to produce a win condition for a game, and it's amazing, especially when we're going to be playing tabletop battles. One of the things I really like about kill points, and I think that's the first thing I should say, is that kill points are really representative of an actual battle. Other games like Age of Sigmar and 40k do work along some other abstractions. Go and hold an objective here, go and do a secret mission over here. And I think these generally produce a more interactive style game. The interactivity in a kill point game is understanding what you're going to kill and what you're going to keep alive. I think that produces a little bit more nuance, and that's what I really wanted to cover in this video. I wanted to talk about the different ways you can generate kill points and stop kill points from being given away, and about what the meta might look like in the future around a kill point based game. Also, I just think it's the coolest bit. Like, it's the most interesting part. Like, there's a fascinating rock, paper, scissors mechanic we're going to get into, which I think you'll really enjoy and I really enjoy. And sure, it's not going to be for everyone. I absolutely understand that, but I think it's very, very fun. Okay. How do we generate kill points? Every unit in your army is worth a certain amount of points. When you make your army list, a unit might cost 200 points. You get victory points for every point that you kill in your enemy's army. So if the enemy unit is worth 200 points and I kill it, then I'm going to get 200 points. There are some other exceptions, so let's look at them now. Under the dead or fled category, you can see that if you 100% kill a unit, or if you run a unit down, or it flees off the board, that's worth 100% of the victory points that the unit is worth. Each unit that is fleeing at the end of the battle is worth 50% of its total points value. And each enemy unit that's been reduced to 25% of its starting strength is worth 25% of its total points. I really like the next rule, and it's called the king is dead. If the enemy general is dead, fleeing, or has been run off the board at the end of the battle, then you gain 100 victory points. This to me is incredibly thematic. You gain points for killing the enemy general or the king or the lord or whatever, and that makes so much sense for what a battle game should be. The next rule focuses on being able to kill certain units in the enemy army. This is trophies of war. You can always have a battle standard bearer in an army as well, and if you are able to kill it, run it down, or make it flee off the board, that's going to be worth an additional 50 points. Most units are able to take a standard, and if you're able to wipe that standard out, or if you're able to run it down, each one of those standards is worth an additional 50 points. So that's how you achieve kill points, and therefore that's how you achieve victory points. If your opponent kills more of your stuff than their stuff, then they're going to win, and vice versa. And that is the game, the win condition. That's how the old world is going to work. So you're asking yourself, Rob, that's not that big a deal. That's easy to understand. And it is. It's really easy to understand. And that's kind of cool. That's really fun. But where it gets really interesting, and I think that's the kind of main point, is that over the next few weeks, when we're looking at all the different armies and all the different rules, we can start to think about how exactly we're going to try and get those kill points and deny those kill points. The game is basically broken up into two halves. It's killing your opponent's stuff, so it's all about the aggression, and it's keeping your stuff alive, so it's all about the defense. As you start looking through rules for armies and units over the next few weeks, you're going to be looking for units that do the most amazing amount of damage. Monsters, cannons, huge bricks of infantry with loads of attacks. These are going to be very attractive and very, very fun to look at. We normally call things like this Death Stars, although that's a little unfair. I like to think of them as damage-dealing units. That's their focus and that's their point. The idea with a damage-dealing unit is it goes out and it kills stuff, and therefore it gets you victory points. However, obviously, you don't want your stuff to die. So then the next thing you start thinking about is the defensiveness of your units and your army. So then we start to look at units that have good armor saves. Do they have ward saves? Can we put regen on them? How can we make it so that we take less damage to our units when we're fighting them? Some units are going to be able to do a lot of attacks and a lot of defense. Those are bruiser units and normally cost a lot of points. Heroes on monsters are kind of bruiser units most of the time. A lot of magic items, a lot of special abilities normally keeps them in the battle for a while. Some units are going to be much less defensive, but still do a lot of damage. A cannon's always been a good example. It's going to be able to shoot really far and do lots of damage at range. However, if anyone gets into combat with it, normally it's going to die. And so the next thing we start looking at are units that are very survivable and also do lots of damage, and immediately we've spent a lot of points on a single unit. This is where we start looking at units which, when you read their rules, are not good. Normally they're cheap, sometimes mobile, sometimes not, and we consider these to be chaff units. Their job is to make your opponent use their big expensive units to kill little things that aren't very valuable. Or while this is happening, use your units to go and kill their fragile units, or get their war machines or wizards or characters or whatever it might be. So now we have something that we can add to armies. Chaff units which are going to deny our big killing units from killing our big stuff. They might be able to redirect them, which is something we'll cover in later videos, and make it so that you get more favorable engagements. It's kind of what the point of the old world is. It's about jockeying for position to get good combats for you, or good shooting for you, whichever, and then your opponent getting worse than they need. You're on a clock, there's only 6 turns, so it's all about engaging where you can and picking up points where you can and denying your opponent points. The best way of denying your opponent points is to not let them ever touch you. And this is where shooting gun lines come in. Being able to do lots of missile attacks and use your artillery pieces to take out units from across the board while they're not engaging with you means you're picking up victory points and your opponent immediately has to start rushing towards you. This is where you now get pretty amazing rock, paper, scissors conversation. An army that's able to get across the board fast and close a gun line down so it can't do too much damage is going to be good into a gun line. However, those same fast armies probably aren't going to be as survivable as punchy as infantry units. However, infantry units are slow, and as they move across the board very slowly, a gun line is probably going to be able to pick them off the board. The game is obviously more nuanced than that. There are many units that don't necessarily fulfill any of these roles, and they add additional roles into our army archetypes and unit roles alike. So how do you win at the old world? That's a great question. It's about killing, obviously, and it's about not giving up any of your kill points. That is how you win at the old world. That's obviously a very simple explanation, but some of these ideas that I've given you, hopefully, are going to start to help you look at the units and armies that are going to be released over the next few weeks. You're going to see lots of hot takes online about this army is broken and this army won't do that and all these other things. And I would really just say, take the time to take these lessons on board. And when you're looking through different units and different army entries, just ask yourself, what will this unit do on the battlefield? How will it help me achieve what I'm trying to achieve? Which is kill the opponent's units and keep my stuff alive. And obviously how we do that is something that we need to break down as a community. We need to do book reviews, we need to do tacticas, and there's so much more stuff we need to embrace and understand about how to play this game. The meta is going to be really interesting. It's going to be a fascinating, moving set of different applications, unit roles, and other things. And it's the kind of stuff that I really, really love. I'd also love to know what you think about it. What are you excited about putting on the table? What sort of army archetype do you think you're going to go for? Obviously, with Bretonnians coming out very early, they're going to be a very fast, in-your-face cavalry army. With dwarves, not far into the future, we're potentially going to get big artillery gun lines as well. All of this is going to produce very interesting games with your friends and also tournament results, and I love looking at all that information. Hope this video is a really nice primer for people who are new to the old world and new to playing kill points based games. And this is going to sound super lame, I know, but I do think the best thing you can do when playing a game is having fun. Understanding how you win a game is a huge element of that fun, but engaging with your opponent is always fun as well. And if you do like this video, you can support the Squarebase crew by liking the video, commenting, subscribing, or sharing it with your friends. I think actually sharing it is the most helpful thing you can do. Thanks to everyone on the Squarebase Patreon who has helped us make these videos. We've been able to build up a really awesome little Discord community with everyone there, so thank you very much for your support. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoy everything about the old world.